Hello, guys. We're gonna be doing Hamad Medjedovic against Luca Pouille here, of course, French Open qualifying round one. Is this the best round one we have? I believe so, right? I mean, it's gotta be pretty much. Just fixing something up still with the mic. Sorry if there's gonna be any noise. I'm still working to fix that as well. Anyway, hopefully I'm gonna find a solution to it. Anyway, yeah, right now I'm just still standing with my mic here, or actually sitting, and I'm just sorry, just trying to put it in a comfortable position. Anyway, when it comes to Medjedovic and Pouille, this is a brutal one. I mean, I do kind of hate it that we're gonna get this much, and I love it that we're gonna get this much because, well, for one thing, we are watching this, and it's going to be a fantastic clash, I hope. But on the other hand, what I really want in the French Open main draw from the qualifiers is kind of like, not only getting through, but also actually having some chances once they get there, right? And these two guys, like, they could easily win matches in the main draw. And yet one of them will have to already leave the tournament right here, right now. Shit. Yes. Um, that's going fantastic, but don't worry, I will fix that very soon. Um, Anyway, what I have to talk about as well is the wildcard thing for Luca Pouille. Do you guys think that Luca Pouille should have received the wildcard? Personally, I believe so. However, I understand why he didn't. So, of course, we had just six wildcards for the French Open main draw, and well, it's already controversial that one of them did not go to Dominic Thiem, who, of course, is retiring at the end of this season and was, well, in the French Open final twice. However, because of the wildcard policy that we usually get at the French Open, I definitely didn't think that team was going to get one. Because, well, in the past 10 years, only Andy Murray received it. So only one non-French player, other than the reciprocals, of course, for Australians and for the Americans, only one French player, non-French player, sorry, received the major wildcard. So no, I didn't think that team was even a consideration for them. I mean, probably he was a consideration, but I didn't think they were going to do it. So I wasn't really surprised with that. For Pouille, it's a bit of a different case. Obviously, he's French, but he's not the youngest, right? And with him, it's like basically, I think because he won Mauthausen just before the cut, I think that's how he just before the cut, just before the announcement. I think that's how he sort of made his case, right? And also, of course, being a former top 10 player, someone trying to return to where he was, a crowd favorite, and someone who qualified in 2023. Oh, shit. I'm almost there, but just my mouse falling down now. But anyway, okay, now we're good. Now we should be good to go. Anyway, there were six wildcards to give out. I think some of the players were absolutely like a given, like Mayo, like Petri Pericard, like Alexandre Miller, who was the highest ranked and actually was a lock, sort of because that's the rules that they have. And unfortunately, there's also this challenge where, like, if you get enough points, like something like the American one, where, like, because of the points you got during the year, you might get a French Open wildcard. And the person who won it, because that challenge was before Pouille won Mauthausen, the person who won it was Pierre Gerber. So he had to get a wildcard. And I think if that wasn't the case, Pouille would have been in over Herbert for sure. And also, I think Pouille would have been in if Terence Atmane doesn't make Rome round three. But Terence Atmane, after having a very mediocre season, qualifies and makes the third round in Rome. And because he's much younger, you kind of can't skip him. So I understand why it happened, but anyway, that's how Luka Pouille is in the qualifying. And Hamad Medjedovic, so many times we've talked about him, the next gen finals champion, of course. He was sick the first 4 months of the season. For a while, he wasn't even playing. Then later on, he was playing, but like was nowhere near his best physical shape. So presently, we've got Hamad Medjedovic basically coming back, but already showing some very positive signs. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I suppose, he almost defeated Daniel Medvedev at Rome. And also, there was that, what was the other decent run? I think he made it through the qualifying in Madrid in good style as well, right? So I think with time, Medjedovic will be back up there, and with time, Medjedovic will be very strong again. I think he's probably going to join the top of the sport at some point. Sooner or later, we'll learn quickly. But I mean, he gets Luca Pouille here in the first round, and it's not obvious that he's going to win. It's just not, because this is literally the best round one matchup. This is literally the trickiest draw you can get, maybe. I mean, obviously, you could have gotten Thiago Monteiro, but Medjedovic, he's seeded, so he couldn't have gotten Monteiro. I guess Pouille could have gotten Monteiro, but yeah. Anyway, this is absolutely sick that we get this match, both in a good way and also in a negative way. So anyway, I've been talking for the first two games. It's one game all now. The players have started on serve. We are on Susan Langland as well. That's the main court that is used for the qualifying. This match was put last on it. This is the fourth slot. Earlier today, we had Jana Fed beating Janickiewicz here. We had a women's match at the very beginning that I don't even remember at this stage, but also Dominic Thiem beating Franco Agamenone, and that was a big one. 10K people, I think, watching. And of course, yeah, big story there because Dominic is retiring at the end of the year. So so many people came to support him. I hear that Pouille is actually not gonna get the same sort of crowd support because there's a Nadal practice right now, and a lot of people will be there too on Chatrier. But in the end, I think Pouille is still going to get a pretty nice reaction. I mean, last year I remember his qualifying matches were just incredible atmosphere. It's not, of course, just Langland where there's amazing atmosphere at the French in the qualifying, and they have 28 Frenchmen this year in the draw. So there's a lot of players you can support from that group for sure. And yeah, I see there were some comments earlier when it's much starting. Yeah, just started. Who's gonna win according to you? I went Medjedovic because I just can't go against Hamad generally. Like he's just too talented for me to not to pick him in terms of getting through the qualies. But this is a nightmare round one. I do think, however, that whoever wins this match is going to make it through the whole event, and maybe win some matches in the main draw. Whoever wins this match might even be this year's Thiago Seibovic, getting into the main draw, getting a high seed and beating that high seed. Like it's really possible. So far, the player who started more erratic is definitely Pouille. There's a fair few random errors here or there, like this one at 15:30 now, dumps that forehand into the middle of the net, and it's Medjedovic with two breakpoints early. Definitely a nicer start for Hamad in terms of how clean he's striking the ball as well. Denis Kudla won, which is a bit of a surprise, says Ghosty. Yeah, I mean, on clay. Uh, Ghosty just said that Denis Kudla won. I'm just saying that it was a bit of a surprise. $50 from Rohit on this match. Wow, and what did you bet on? Rohit then? Like, what was it? Was it Medjedovic? Was it Pouille? Yeah, I mean, Seibo Wild, if he was a little fresher, I think last year he could have gone much deeper. It was the Echeverry quarter, I think, where Nishioka made the fourth round, right? Because of Seibo Wild just falling apart physically in the fifth set against him. But like Thiago had real quarterfinal chances last year. Yeah. And that's why I actually pointed out him and not like Sebastian Offner as that qualifier that we're kind of looking at, someone who did damage last year. Sebastian Offner was in the fourth round. But I think with Steph in there, his chances kind of ended there. Like he just had a ridiculously good draw at first because he landed in the first two rounds. Offner could only play players who were yet to win on clay that year. That was Korda, McDonald, and someone else. Whereas for Seibovic, of course, it was Medvedev round one. So yeah, these players that we're watching, like they could actually upset someone in the first round or second round. One of the high seeds. Pouille saves the two breakpoints. Very nice drop shot on the latter. Medjedovic trying to sprint towards it, but not getting there. And he has a game point now to keep us on serve. Thinking about the matchup, I mean, probably Medjedovic is a good example of a player that Pouille usually struggles against right now, just because of how heavy he hits off both wings and Pouille's physicality. Even if he's not injured, like right now, Pouille's physicality to me is like what 80% of what it was when he was in his prime. Like he's never going to be as strong physically as he was a few years ago, I think. So I think sometimes maybe he gets into trouble when he has to like overwhelm a player who hits really hunt your chances so aggressively, right? And that's when the error count of Luka Puig can maybe skyrocket. But then again, of course, he's beaten a fair few players like this even very recently, right? I don't know, Kowalik in the Mauthausen final and stuff, Choinski in Mauthausen as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't, I guess he's not without a chance. I mean, his quality is high enough that I don't think these matchup things really matter all that much. Medjedovic is what Rohit bet on. Personally, I think the odds were a little weird on Medjedovic. Like, I mean, he is the favorite, but yeah, not by that much. I think that was undervaluing Pouille a little bit, but anyway, he's the favorite, I believe. Matthew is really hoping that Hamad comes through qualifying. Absolutely. Nah, Ghosty, please don't. I mean, no one is gonna be watching that. Dino Prismic out. I mean, Matthew, first and foremost, Prismic has been out with for 2 months with an injury, so I do think that sort of maybe like getting very excited after the Novak match. Like, yeah, sure, maybe in some cases people were a bit too eager to believe in Prismic, especially in terms of his ability to like right away, let's say, win challenger titles and I don't know, get on the tour and be winning many matches because he just doesn't have the weaponry really. But of course, his last 2 months have been just yeah, he's been off the court due to an injury, and he wasn't fit today either. By the way, he went up 4-1 on Napolitano and 3-1 in the first set, 3-1 in the second set. But it was clear he's just not there yet. He had treatment. He seemed to have also like picked up something with his shoulder, maybe. Yeah, it was just a rough one because he was clearly not 100% yet. And Napolitano, to his credit, like he's one of the toughest draws right now, really. So what do I make of Varias's early exit to Trunheliti? It's definitely a shame for you, for him. Jesus, sorry, I was already reading another comment and then I started thinking about something else. But yeah, it's definitely a shame for him. But I think his form this year has definitely been quite up and down. You can't just play a set like he did in the first set against Marco, and after that he just had zero margin for error. Like you could see in the second set on all these pressure points, right? 4-5, 5-6. He's constantly 2 points away from losing the match. Even though I think he was the better player in the second set, but he goes up 5-2 in the second set and just kind of loses a few points completely randomly. Like yeah, that was just a nightmare. That second set tiebreak for him. So it's a huge hit to his rankings, and it does represent an issue that he's had of late, right? Just in that, well, he's so random. He's in and out of form, and maybe it shouldn't be a huge surprise. But just given what he was doing in the last 2 years at the French, which is 2022, qualifies with a very strong win over Jari in the third round, and then takes 2 sets of Felix. And then in 2023, of course, he qualifies, wins 3 consecutive 5 setters, beats Hurkacz, beats Shank, beats Bautista Agut, and loses to Djokovic. Like the last 2 years at the French, I was still thinking, okay, if Varias finds his game here, he's probably going to qualify. He didn't, and he's going to have a real hard time coming back up the rankings now. I mean, he's at like 165, I think, after the French, probably. So, and it's also not like he got to the top 100 like just instantly when he was coming up, right? I mean, it took him a few years, but let's say the top game is still there. But yeah, just a very disappointing loss, I think, today, despite it being Trungelliti, who's a god in Grand Slam qualifying and basically always upsets the odds and always exceeds expectations in this particular event, or type of event rather, because it's not limited to the French only. And yeah, Matthew, exactly. Like, I think the injury is basically how he lost today, but still, like, it's Napolitano in great form. I mean, the form of his life. Maybe he would have lost it also if he was fit, but at least he would have had a chance, and like it would have been a better match. But yeah, because of Prismic's injury, I was mostly looking at Bagnis and Napolitano in that section. They both survived today in good shape, so I think the seats still look pretty strong there. And when it comes to Molchan, yeah, just like Ghosty, I don't think I would blame it on Vaida, but I guess they have maybe a little bit. But probably that's coincidental. He's also not been the fittest, right? I guess right now he's also playing Yun Chao Keta, and I think he's been losing. I was kind of thinking that this isn't that easy for Molchan, purely because like Yun Chao Keta is so physical, and you just can't trust Alex health wise, it seems, at the moment. So yeah, I was actually thinking that this does not have to be obvious for Molchan, which is a shame because, like, generally speaking, Yun Chaoketa has zero clay court experience. From 40 love up, Pouille has kind of made a mess of it here. Although that one inside in forehand, it could have been like, could have been on the line. It was very close, but he has fallen into some trouble here. Hamad finds this very deep slice right on the baseline. He's kind of just holding up defensively pretty well here. Wow, that's really a touch of magic though from Pouille. That stab backhand drop shot, sort of very characteristic for him. I can't quite call it a trademark of his, I think, but he's been playing a ton of these, especially in Mauthausen. I was able to watch that drop shot so many times. Like, it's kind of really surprising because it comes off a fast ball usually. So there's no like usual setup for a drop shot when you're in the middle of the court and then you regrip and play it, but it's kind of usually played of like a faster ball coming at you, and most players just can't really read it, can't um, spot it really. I know he's playing a lot of these on like the +1 shot. There's the serve, pretty deep return, and suddenly just stabs that drop shot, stabs that ball with the backhand motion, and it's a really good one, I have to say. And it kind of won him this game at deuce. After that, he goes to the net. Hamad can't quite find that forehand pass, so it's 3 to Pouille. Definitely in more trouble so far, but he's surviving, and that's what matters for the moment. And Molchan, yes, is indeed up down a set against Buyun Chaokete. In other interesting results at the moment, we have Lucas Klein and Gustavo Haide stuck in the third set. Klein dominated the first set, but now it's just on serve at 3 games all. Klein, of course, has been like a qualifying master this season, and he could really use another qualifying success. We'll see if he fights, if he just gets through Haida here. And Christian Garin, who everyone is kind of just unanimously picking to make it through the qualies. He's the top seed. He had such amazing rounds in Munich in Estoril. Estoril, of course, me and John were pretty much, you know, following it from as close as you can get. And after these results, he is now a set down to Hugo Blanchet, which would be a pretty surprising exit. However, he is up a break in the second set. I hope that both Klein and Garin make it. Again, I'm kind of just hoping that the qualifiers who could actually win something in the main draw get through. That's kind of what I'm rooting for usually in these Grand Slam qualifying competitions, which it's probably no surprise to you that these are one of my favorite weeks of the season. And what else? There's also the women's qualifying, of course, at the same time. And I honestly haven't been following it too much today because, well, we have so many matches, right? But I guess we haven't really had any massive stories showing up yet in that one. Shramkova playing the qualifying. Of course, she's going to be in the Wimbledon main draw after her Rome run, but for the French, she still needs to be here. She still needs to fight for her main draw spot. Linda Fruvirtova winning a match. And Brenda Fruvirtova is just entering the court, so we'll see if she matches up to her sister. She's playing Hrutsakova, formerly known as Kuzmova, so not the easiest draw, but maybe on clay with Kuzmova's footwork, it can be pretty okay for Brenda. And let's see, Hamad Medjedovic 2-3 down. I like how clean he's striking the ball for sure here. It's like kind of he's not maybe exactly going for every possible line for every shot, but definitely just has some such good feel here so far. And it's been important for sure. The serve, I mean, he's got a serving advantage over Pouille. So even if he's probably going to be 3 games all soon, Medjedovic is looking better so far. Will that continue? Does that even matter given the scoreboard hasn't reflected it? Well, the answer to the second question is probably no. 20 minutes in, Hamad Medjedovic has a chance to get us to 3 games all. Especially his games have been pretty fast paced, definitely, but I'm a bit surprised that in 20 minutes we're already here because it seems like there were a few deuces on the Pouille serve and stuff, but well, apparently not. Apparently it's still been a pretty rapid match so far. 3 games all, Hamad Medjedovic, Luca Pouille. I'm watching on mute as usual, but I don't really see the crowd so far like being, a major factor for Pouille. Maybe it will be down the line. I think especially for Gabriel Debrou today against Valentin Vachereau, they were just amazing. The match I think is going to be hard to beat in terms of match of the day or something like that. Maybe even match of the qualifying competition. The drama, the atmosphere, the high quality rallying was really insane. Maybe Medjedovic and Pouille can get us there. I'm kind of expecting it won't be just as incredible, but probably will have even stronger quality of play because it's Medjedovic and Pouille. But yeah, Valentin Vachereau against Gabriel Debrou earlier today, that was quite a show. And also some drama at the end with Vachereau's celebration rattling up the crowd a little bit. And, well, that he was booed off the court, which is pretty brutal because after all, he's French too. Like, he's half French. He was born in France and he's from Monaco right now, which is pretty much France. Is that a little uh, weird to say that? Maybe. Anyway, 3 games all. Luca Pouille approaches the net on the first point and gets burned by the slice pass from Hamad. Down the line, beautiful angle. There's a big reaction from him and also some people in the crowd because that's really a special shot. And maybe Medjedovic will just be in every Pouille service game now because he's also 30 up. Massive forehand here. And what a lovely play as well, delaying that last backhand. I thought that maybe the shot from Pouille, the defensive one, just kind of maybe makes Hamad uncomfortable here. Like it was short enough to maybe do it, and not everyone is comfortable hitting their backhands down the line like this. But beautiful move from Medjedovic to wait to see where Pouille goes and then put it away. Viktor Troitsky, the coach, the former number 12, and the coach of Hamad Medjedovic, right now is so pleased about that shot as well. And we have 3 breakpoints for Medjedovic, who finally has to break, right? I mean, the last few points, the last few games have been so tight. And Luca Pouille says, okay, Hamad, you've been struggling to break me, right? I will help you out. I will give you a line. And he double faults. So we've got 4-3 Hamad Medjedovic after 23 minutes. Quite frankly, very deserved because so far this match has been a little lopsided. Maybe Luca Pouille will find it in himself to fight back. How is that Klein match going? 4 games all now, so this will likely come down to the brink now. And we also have Garin serving for the second set. I guess these 3 maybe are the biggest stories right now. I don't know if Enrique Rocha potentially beating Radu Albot will be a story, but he does have a set point. And I guess Molchan Bui is also probably quite interesting for a lot of people. I think the last 2 hours in general, we haven't really had any major news and the French Open qualies. Post team and Varias, it's been kind of, well, a little more low key. I sorted out my microphone issues. Not necessarily. Not yet. Not yet. But I will be working on it. I mostly have to just see if there's any mechanical issues with the fan, which will require me to use a screwdriver and look inside my laptop, which is a problem for me because, well, first of all, I have two left hands, so I have to ask someone. And also, I'm constantly using my laptop. So when when am I supposed to do it? But I will try to probably early tomorrow, maybe. And if not, maybe finally I will have to give it to some repair guys. But yeah, it just kind of comes and goes. So I haven't really fixed it, to be honest. Today I tried something else though. I tried lowering the lowering the level of the sound that it takes. So like probably you can only hear me and that on, well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm basically guessing here, but we'll find out. Anyway, Geneva weather looking better than it was a few days ago. Still looking wet all this week, says Matthew. Oh, that's interesting. I'm actually doing some work relating to Geneva this week, so it might be a little troubling for me as well. Well, maybe not troubling, but just like kind of I'll probably have to monitor the weather situation as well. Let's say that. The famous talking tennis boost. I already gave him the famous Challenger podcast boost in 2021, and well, he won that event when we talked. So I think I kind of just did enough for Alex Molchan. That was in Helsinki in 2021. And that was an indoor hardcourt challenger title that he won, which might sound pretty shocking right now because probably no one thinks of Alex Molchan as an indoor hardcourt player. But well, he was so good back then that he was winning everything. 5-3 Medjedovic, another rapid service game for him. Just kind of making sure that my claim that he's been pretty dominant so far is absolutely right. We cannot show a live stream. We would be banned very quickly. Raducanu did give a reason, yes. I might have created a new expression, Ghosty. Basically, two left hands is something we say in Polish. So I didn't actually coin it. However, maybe I just translated into English and now you can start using it. And that's how expressions are sometimes created, right? So basically, someone can pick up that expression from me. But no, it's not my creation. This is just the fact that it's something we use in Polish. Two left hands, as in you can say that you have two left hands for something, essentially. So in terms of um, in terms of some activity, you have two left hands, which means that you are crap at that, basically. And also you can probably just use it like not even for something, but just in general that you have two left hands in terms of your technical ability and stuff. And I definitely have two left hands. I cannot fix a thing. I cannot do anything manually. I feel like my left hand just doesn't even exist in general. Like it's just there, but I don't even use it playing tennis. So why would I need it for? What would I need it for, really? I guess driving. Anyway, Hamad Medjedovic making another push at the Pouille serve. This has been happening game after game now. And this is going to be a return winner. Forehand angle found beautifully here by Hamad with this whippy technique that he has sometimes. And it's gonna be 2 set points for Pouille, who has to sort things out very quickly. So far, Medjedovic kind of helps him out. I wonder what that reaction from Hamad was for. Like he was just like kind of, I don't know, saying to the crowd that they should give more applause, but after a simple error, I don't know. Anyway, one more set point for Medjedovic, but of course it's on the Pouille serve. Good reactive return, and he tries to go very deep with the forehand cross court. I think he just missed it, but that was a proper opportunity. Definitely after the return, he got himself in a position where he could have finished the point, and he just kind of snapped at that forehand. Was trying to wrap it up a bit too quickly. He's not been great about taking his opportunities, Medjedovic, this set, but well, thankfully for him, like he's just kind of creating them game after game, so it's fine. He can afford to skip on a few. He can afford to miss out, at least so far, because if Luka Pouille claims this game and he has advantage right now, he will need to serve it out maybe. Trading backhands cross. It's gonna be Medjedovic finding the line. Backhand drop shot. Lovely stuff. And what disguise as well. I know the Medjedovic backhand drop shot. Sometimes I've heard people say that it's like kind of a thing that he still needs to work on, but I think he's been doing it. I think since maybe around 2023, let's say November or something like that. Like that's been kind of his primary tool that he uses to wrap up points if the power isn't enough, or if he's just doesn't want to go for broke with a baseline shot. I don't think he had it yet in like May when he won Mauthausen, or March when he won Sekes Hervar. Probably not yet as well during these slam qualifying runs. So yeah, I think it was like latter half of 2023 when he like really started going for that shot. It needs work, but it's a way of really blasting. Well, not having to blast through everybody anymore, right? And wow, speaking of blasting through everybody anymore, we've got a beautiful return winner on the set point from Medjedovic. So low. I mean, the ball was so low for him here. The net clearance of that backhand winner basically zero. But Medjedovic gets it done 6-3. Very dominant set. Let's be honest. I mean, especially with how he was just crushing everyone. Crushing, pushing Pouille in all the return games. My concentration is a little all over the place here. Whenever I start thinking of something else, I already lose my train of thought. However, let's see. Oh yeah, and I didn't eventually say that, I guess. Did Raducanu give a reason for not playing qualifying? Yes, she did. She said that she wants to train more for the grass. I don't know what I think about that. I mean, it's certainly a little weird that she like finished her season on clay so early. Clay can also help you get more physically like ready, right? I mean, can help you improve your fitness just playing on it, not necessarily even winning on it. I think we saw it very well when Federer was skipping clay some years, and then got back to it, right? Well, some years, I guess only one or two, but then he got back to it really. And after that, you could see that even the grass season for him was much stronger because of all that build up that you had on clay. But if Emma says that like it's gonna help her fix her body and just be more ready for the grass and hardcourt season, maybe she's right. I don't know. I see there's some strong players playing Geneva. Is that typical? I mean, we've got Djokovic this year. Of course, that's not typical, but Casper Ruud plays almost every year. So I guess so. It's definitely much stronger than Lyon this year. Like it's very top heavy. But Casper plays a lot. Like Geneva, he's played the last 4 years, I think. Who else is like from the top 50 there? Bias, I guess. You expect him to play these events. Shelton, I think, is also perfectly fine. Fritz played it last year, so other than Djokovic, I would say it's pretty typical actually. Yeah. Um, Shevchenko beat Marozhan in Geneva. Yes, indeed, that's the second tournament in a row where he beat him. Where he beat him as well. Yeah, Murray and Draper, but actually, Sean was asking about strong players. Anyway, I'm just joking. Of course, I was just thinking about the players with high rankings rather than well, Draper is a seed, but like Murray, wants to play something before the French. But yeah, basically, it's the fact that Djokovic is there. That's the only atypical thing because atypical because you've got Ruud who plays there every year. So Fritz who plays there. Well, he played there last year as well. So yeah, I don't think it's atypical other than Djokovic, of course, which is very much due to the reason that that Jane posted. That's why Djokovic is playing it, right? Too, because he didn't have a good time so far this season and this clay season as well, and he thinks he needs some additional practice just before the event, which yeah could work. Obviously, it did work for him in 2021 when he won Belgrade and then he won the French Open. And Ghosty, to your question, I'm glad you asked about that. I guess let me quickly find it. Oh yeah, why isn't Fields going to Lyon? Doesn't he have points to defend there? Yes, he does. However, one thing that has to be said is that Arthur Fields withdrew from Lyon like a few days before he won Bordeaux, so he couldn't have known that he was going to. But because he won Bordeaux, so he won 175 points. I think it's actually a good decision because he defended most of his Lyon points anyway, and he desperately clearly like he said that as well, like that's not only my guess, although my guess was the same, but he said it as well, that he desperately wants to avoid this situation like he had last year. So he wins Lyon, he gets to Roland Garros, and then he has nothing left for that match against Davidovich Fokina in the opening round, which like everyone was so excited about, and then it just wasn't really a contest. Well, I mean, he took a set, but you could still see that he's not at his best at all, and I think he desperately wants to avoid that now. And given he won Bordeaux, I like it. However, I'm pretty surprised that he did it. I think maybe when after, even before his second round in Bordeaux, or right after his second round in Bordeaux, like that's when he withdrew from Lyon. So I would have been very okay with this decision if he did it after winning Bordeaux. He kind of risked it. He kind of banked on himself having a good Bordeaux, but he did, so no harm done, in my opinion. Yes, it is a little weird that he's not defending that Lyon title, but he just wants to give everything at the French. I like that. Someone actually had a great comment in my Twitter responses the other day, saying that like Fields is at that level in terms of his explosiveness, his talent, but also his inconsistency, where he pretty much has the same chance of getting of losing in Roland Garros round one as getting to the quarters. And I like that. That's actually spot on, I think. Like Fields could legit lose in the Roland Garros round one to almost anyone, but are we going to be surprised if he makes the quarters? Absolutely not. Like he's definitely that kind of player for the moment. And I don't even know if the draw is that important in this case, right? I mean, I think it's kind of his level that will determine how far he goes. Other than extreme cases, let's say he plays a feat Carlos Alcaraz round three. Like, of course, then I'm not saying that's the case, but like in a lot of potential draws, it's his level that will be deciding who gets further, who gets far. Anyway, second set already. Let's see if Pouille will keep having issues on in every game on serve. So far, he was 30 love up, but now Medjedovic finds this nice return one to punch, backhand winner cross court, or maybe not a winner. Maybe Pouille got a racket on the ball, but anyway, forcing shot, point ending shot. Pouille desperately needs some easy holds because the basically since the second game maybe of the first set he was just constantly in trouble on return on serve and on return as well. But of course on return you expect that. 40-15 for Pouille now. And every hold from him at this point in time will kind of feel crucial. But another blistering return for Medjedovic, right on the line with this forehand winner. He's been kind of unplayable so far. I think the reaction from Pouille, like just based on how he's acting, is also kind of like not maybe frustration, but he's kind of just had to accept it that Medjedovic is playing like this, and I think maybe he's even accepted it a little too much. Like again, just second serve into the service box, and Medjedovic is right on it and fires another return winner. It's like what, 4, 5 maybe already in this match. I remember two right now. The one to convert set points. There was this forehand cross court one as well. It's at least four, and I wouldn't be surprised with 5 or 6. Next return, he blocks. Pouille running into the net, and whoa, the volley. Jesus Christ. And he finally has like a more animate reaction, I would say. Lovely stop volley. Honestly, when he was sprinting towards this, I was thinking, Hamad is probably going to pass here in like 2 or 3 shots. But no, uh, phenomenal touch from the former world number 10. Has another game chance to claim this game. And he really should be doing this right now. Yes, it's an unreturned serve. Let's see how much fight he has in him, and can he finally trouble Medjedovic on return at all? Would I call Medjedovic's serve bot? Not really, because the serve bot moniker, like it implies that the only thing that you do well is serve. Something that people maybe not don't always understand when they throw this name around is that a serve bot requires that the serve is your only weapon, really. Like it's the only thing you do well. It's the only way you gain advantage. Medjedovic has a fantastic serve and an elite baseline game, so doesn't qualify. But then if you ask me who qualifies, I think yeah, it's pretty tough to find players who are just serve bots. Is Christopher Eubanks a serve bot, for example? I mean, he wasn't at Wimbledon or Mallorca when he was blasting that forehand so well, but like right now he is kind of a serve bot with his lack of athleticism and the one hander. Pechi Pericard is often a serve bot, I would say. Ivo Karlovic could be called a serve bot. I think John Isner could be called a serve bot. Riley Opelka could be called a serve bot, right? I think all of them, of course, have some other strengths, but it's that serve that primarily gets it done for them. I don't think Medjedovic is. I think he's nowhere near that category. That's not to say that he doesn't have one of the best serves on tour right now, because he clearly does. But I think he's too all rounded for that to be his primary tool. Wow, another massive one here down the T, 227 kilometers an hour. He's been unbreakable so far. I think he just missed that one, but it would have been pretty brutal if he just ended it here with this one. Woo, and he tries to go for the first serve on his second as well. And by the way, we might have rain coming on. Yes. All right, so we're gonna go into a rain delay, which I think won't be temporary. Susan Langland has a roof though, right? So we should be okay to go in like what, 20 minutes or something? I don't know. Does it already have a roof actually? Well, Chatrier does, but this one does too, right? Hey, someone help me out here. I'm not even sure. Kyrgios a serve bot. I can kind of understand putting Kyrgios there. Like, of course, he's a super talented player, but there were some parts of his career when he was kind of playing this serve bot slash pusher style, where like he would serve great and then kind of just rally with his backhand, which is super flat, of course, and kind of tricky to play against. But no, like he doesn't want to play like that. I think he was mostly doing that out of necessity, if anything else. Do, does Susan Langland already have a roof, or are they just planning it? That's a good question right now. Uh huh. Wait. Roland Garros unveils second retractable roof. Okay, it's supposed to be originally inaugurated at the 2024 French Open. Yes, so I guess it should already have a roof. So I think we should be good to go in some minutes when they close the roof. I think at least. Well, they have to use it for the qualies, right? Like they're not just gonna like wait for the main draw to unveil it. Yeah, the roofs are very expensive, of course, but it seems like they actually are planning to have it for the French. But do they already? Is the question, I suppose, right now. Anyway, what else was there? Why are folks so casual with calling Hubi a serve bot? Um, I guess Hubi is just more of that, yeah, serve bot pusher thing, right? Or like tall counter puncher. So like kind of like Zverev or Medvedev to me. Generally, I just find it hard to call anyone a serve bot. You know, that's kind of the thing for me. And also, there was a question about, oh yeah, so Fils is implying that he thinks he would have won Lyon again. No, but he just prefers to rest up and be 100% ready for the French. If he plays Lyon, he would be willing to like play it until the end, right? If it happens, but if it happens. But of course, I don't think he's thinking that. Yeah, I definitely would have won it or something like that. Yeah, I don't think he's that bold about his ability, although he kind of has right to. Anyway, I really need to find out if we have that Susan Langland roof restart soon. I hope so. Um, no, actually, I'll do it. I'll do it on my phone. Just put it into the Twitter search engine or something, the name of the court, and because I think we should be back in like what 15-20 minutes, but my the feed on my stream is not really showing the roof at all. Like it's stuck on that one main camera, and I'm not sure about this because of that. They covered up the court, of course, as they usually do in Paris. But yeah, I just have no clue if they're gonna be closing that or not. Let me find. Actually, based on the crowd, I kind of think they might be, but I don't know. Because all the crowd is like hiding right now in these two spots on the court, which could indicate that they're gonna be closing it, right? I don't know. I'll search it on Twitter, because if it's not temporary, like if they're not closing the roof, if they don't have it working yet or something, then we're just gonna go into a rain delay, right, and stuff. Now I have an overhead view of all the courts at Roland Garros, but that's not helping either, as I really would like to know whether they are closing the roof or not. That's my only concern as of right now. And that view that they've shown me now does not help. Huh. Nothing about it on Twitter so far, I suppose. Some of the crowd seems to be exiting the stadium, but again, I'm really not sure if this is happening or not. From a picture that someone made earlier on Susan Langland, it seems like the roof should be in place. I still have no clue if they're closing it. It doesn't seem like it to me on my feed, to be honest. Are they really just waiting with it to like inaugurate it later in the week? Like that would be insane, right? Like that would be so weird if they did that, but if anyone has any confirmation on that, fire away in the chat. Uh, Rain, John, but I wonder if they are going to close the roof or not. Does it make sense for Collins to go to Strasbourg? So Collins is playing Strasbourg. I don't like that. No, I don't think she should. But I guess I'm just thinking very seriously about her chances at the French. But yeah, if she's really playing Strasbourg, I don't think she should. Like after Rome and Madrid, do you need more match practice? Eh, I don't think you do if you're Daniel Collins and you went pretty deep in both events. But yeah, she is gonna play Katarzyna Siniakova in the second round. Then can face Svitolina. I guess if she plays like two matches, it's not the end of the world. But no, personally, I wouldn't play Strasbourg if I were her. It is raining, but the question is because we're on Susan Langland, are we going to get our roof closed or not? Because they are supposed to have the roof on Langland from this year. And I still don't know if they're closing it actually based on my feed. My feed kind of doesn't seem to suggest so. But more and more people are now coming back and they're sitting like pretty low as well in the stadium. They're not only sitting on at the top of it. I don't know. Clay always has a ceiling, says Ghosty. By the way, where did the other matches finish? Klein and Haide are in the third set tiebreak, and Klein is 1-5 down. Ooh, I mean, it is a tiebreak to 10 points, but still, 1-5 is a pretty strong lead already for the Brazilian. Blanchet is 2 games to love up on Garin in the third set. Buch has a match point on Molchan, so that's a crazy moment to finish the well, to have to stop at, right? But well, Arthur Gay also took the first set over Lloyd Harris 6 games to 2. It's pretty interesting. Women's Health Initiative. All right. What else do we have in the women's qualifying? Brenda Fruvirtova won the first set over Hrunchakova or Kuzmova 6 games to love. I guess only 3 women's qualifying matches were suspended. A lot of them were already wrapped up. But yeah, can we actually get any info on whether we are closing the roof? I think we are now. I actually kinda I see something moving on top of my screen. I think we are closing the roof on Langland. Which means that we would be back in like 10-15 minutes, I think. Maybe well, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Honestly, I might as well just sit here with you for that 10-15 minutes because usually when there's a rain delay, we have like something prepared, like there's just music playing and there's a banner, rain delay, play suspended, we will be back when they restart or whatever. But if we have the roof and if they're gonna like close it momentarily, then I'm probably gonna just stick around. Molchan's one of these guys with a lot of variety, and he doesn't get the same kind of praise he deserves. Emo, anyone can find something to like about this game. Hmm. I used to like his game, you know. It's just that I guess when he's not confident, I'm not exactly on board with it. Like it's not fun to me anymore. But I did used to like his game when he was coming up, like especially 2021 when he really started firing. I definitely like Klein more from the two Slovak 90 whatever born players. I think there's the same Berfier, like very similar. But yeah, Klein is definitely just my style of tennis. You know, super aggressive, goes to the net. That kind of tennis that I like watching. Yeah, they are closing the roof. Seems like they are maybe like halfway or maybe even further than halfway by now. Obviously, the court is covered, so we probably will be fine to play in like ten minutes, I would hope. Although there might be like quite a lot of rain as well on the actual covers. So then, of course, that will also need to be removed. By the way, in terms of the ATP Weekly, we will have it later today. I think we are still in the process of setting up who will be joining me on that ATP Weekly. But we probably will be. And yeah, they're already removing water from the covers, as I think by now the whole court is not under the rain anymore. So yeah, I would assume about 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe. We'll see. But I guess I'm just gonna stay on. I'm gonna go to the toilet to get some water in a second, but otherwise I'm gonna stay on. And if you have any comments, questions, and stuff, definitely fire away. Just gonna reply to someone about the Challenger TV streaming. They are trying to remove the water of the covers, so that's why the cover, why, well, you know, when they take the cover off, it doesn't flood the court, which is an issue sometimes. Which famous British monarch was a really good tennis player? I don't know. There's this Queen Anne or something like that. I don't know if it counts as a monarch. Probably not, right? But I think she played the Olympics or something like that. Am I right about that? There is something like that. And she didn't have to go through this like checkup of some sorts. But no, it might not even be tennis, honestly. I might be just mixing up some stuff. But yeah, 16th century. Ooh. I mean, 16th century, you know, is Elizabeth, Mary, and Henry, but like, yeah, I have no clue. By the way, 16th century tennis, some sort of ancient version of it, I guess. I don't know. I would be just guessing, so I would either guess Mary, Elizabeth, or Henry. Yeah, you have three choices. Which one would I choose? Probably not Mary. I think she didn't live for that long. I don't think she ruled for that long either. So it would have to be Elizabeth or Henry. I don't know. I mean, Henry, I think he was like a little, you know, he had some beer belly and stuff. Of course, he had so many wives. Well, not at the same time, but like he needed to entertain. he needed to entertain them, right? So I would go Elizabeth, but again, it's just a guess. Um, you know, when you've obviously never done that, but in Europe, if you learn English, as a second language, you're probably gonna run into some sort of British history class. That's kind of probably how I know most of that. I think when I was going to some like English competitions in high school or something like that, uh, it was Henry actually. Okay, yeah, I can probably name the wives as well. I think of his, but uh, yeah, again, like if you're learning English in Poland, you're probably gonna run into some British history at some point in one of the textbooks or something like that. I think at the university, despite me attending like American Studies course or whatever it was called, I also had a class like introductory British history and introductory British literature or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I know something. Literature, I definitely prefer British to American. Anyway, Sean was also there with I saw Fonseca skipping the French. I mean, first of all, Fonseca wouldn't get into the French. The thing is that the Brazilian Federation they applied for a wild card for him for the qualifying, right? And we don't know if he would have gotten it. Maybe the story is that he simply wouldn't have, and he just announced, "Okay, I'm skipping the French," and sort of by that he meant I'm not gonna go to the French and sit around because I'm like what the fifth alternate or whatever, and I just prefer playing on the to practice on the grass. Maybe if he would have gotten the wild card, if he knew he gets the wild card and he decided to skip it, that's kind of wild. I don't understand that decision then. But again, it was just not even a guarantee that he would make it into the French. If he defeated, who was that, Tabilo in the quarterfinals in Bucharest, then he would have gotten it. But he lacked that one win. Must have done well on his exams. British literature actually got an A, let's say. We have this system from 2 to 5 rather than A to F, but I got the max grade on British literature. On history, though, probably not. I still got a pretty good one though in terms of where the entire class was ranked. Like the test was just very hard, but I think I got like a B. But again, actually that these were actually one of the easiest classes for me and at the university. These introductories to British literature and British history, because I'm kind of interested. Like it interests me to an extent. So so I guess I had a lot of knowledge about this already before the course. I definitely got way better grades from the British history, culture, literature classes than the American ones. As American literature, they actually wanted us to read something. Whereas for that British literature thing, because it was just like an introductory, we kind of just mostly learned about books, authors, styles, genres, and stuff. So in that, I was pretty strong. Like I didn't really need to study for it whatsoever. But American literature, I actually would have had to study if I was to get good grades. But because I didn't get good grades either. But well, it happens. I didn't really care, so whatever. They're taking the covers off now. Seems like all that very quick reaction from the French Open stuff seemed like it worked out just fine because I don't think the court got any water really, other than some first few drips, which by now have already sunk in. And I think that soon enough we might be getting the players back on the court. Of course, just on Susan Langland, as I think other than Philippe Chatrier, these are the only two courts with roof. I mean, other this is the only other court with a roof. We've got all these trumpet players here, right? The crazy band that is also very often there at this event. Are the covers still on like one side of the court? I guess they are. I guess it is. So I guess they started from one half and they're now gonna go to the other maybe. I wonder when we'll see the players back. Also, I wonder how long will the warm up have to be. I don't. I never remember the rules about it. I think by now maybe they will have this shortened warm up, like not just 5 minutes, but just three or something. Oh, Anne Boleyn was literally betting on a tennis match when she was arrested and thrown into a tower. Huh. On average, how many miles does the pro tennis player run during a match? I'm pretty sure I've heard that some at some point. Uh, let's say about 5, because I'm thinking I read that it was like 9 kilometers, maybe. No, no, it can't be 9. No, that's nonsense. It can't be 5, right? No, that's too much. That's too much. No, I'm just guessing. Never mind. Jadwiga Jędrzejowska. That's how you pronounce it. There's no like J, right? Um, about 4 or 5. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking I read somewhere that it was like 9 kilometers, so I tried to take it to miles basically. Uh, Jadwiga Jędrzejowska. So the J's are not like in English, like Jadwiga. It's like Jazda, right? The Świątek phrase that she keeps saying when she wins points, like a come on in Polish. That is Jazda, so it's not Jazda. So that's the same with Jadwiga and Jędrzejowska. It looks like Welsh. Jadwiga was actually the first name of one of my grandmothers. Jędrzejowska is, I guess, a pretty popular name as well. They called her like Jet or something like that, or yeah, like they were, in the foreign world. Let's say they were kind of like they gave her some sort of a nickname. JJ maybe. Oh, JJ maybe, or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, something like that, or Jed maybe. Yeah, Jed maybe. That's how they call her. I don't remember, but something like that. Anyway, she played a lot of like mixed doubles and doubles as well with foreign partners. So they had to call her somewhere. They had to call her something. Play suspended. Court Susan Langland. I still have that on my screen. However, they are now really like fixing up the lines and the court. I'm assuming that in a couple of minutes the players should be entering the court. Again, I don't remember how long the warm up will be, but it's just the warm up. Mm, Welsh is nuts. Yes, that's true. I really don't get how these words are pronounced whatsoever. But yeah, you'd find stuff in Polish. You definitely find things that even though I think if you know the rules, Polish is not actually that tough to pronounce if you also like are ready for some of these for some of these like diacritic sounds or diacritic or whatever the word is. If you are ready for some of these sounds, unique sounds for languages, if your mouth is ready to say them, I think Polish isn't that tough to pronounce in general. But there are definitely a few words that like dżownica or grzegżółka that are very tricky even for Poles in terms of writing them, in terms of saying them. Like it's actually pretty common to have like a spelling bee competition in Polish, even though it doesn't actually work like a spelling bee in common, like usually. But in primary school, I attended a lot of these where you kind of just have this test, you write, and it's all based on orthography and uh, yeah, like there's so many words that you need to either like maybe correct the errors in or maybe just write a couple of letters in. There's a ton of words where like you typically don't know whether it's going to be RZ or Z with a dot because they're pronounced the same. Yeah, I think there's even like a national competition for adults about this. uh, that I never participated in, but in primary school I definitely. Well, in primary school I went to every single possible school competition I could, so that was definitely also a thing. But it doesn't quite work like a spelling bee. No, it's not quite the same. Um, Medjedovic, Pouille, can you show them to me on the screen? Where are they? The staff is still working on the courts. I think they're also clearing the benches, right? That makes sense because, of course, the benches were not covered. Lots of crowd members as well, very happy to see themselves on the big screen. Seems like a lot of people stayed as well, because I was thinking maybe, if there's a break here and on Shatria they're still playing probably, but actually maybe not. Maybe on Shatria they were also not playing with like the practice maybe was also without a roof. I don't know, and maybe they also had to close it. Um, no clue about that. Anyway, uh, still don't see the players. Are they waiting in some tunnel, or are they just gonna be called in a couple of minutes? We'll find out. Of course, no other court so far has managed to return to play. We also have Lyon and Geneva this week. Geneva will be restarting in like 10 minutes with Yannick Hanfman facing Andy Murray. There's like a British evening session in Geneva with Hanfman Murray and Mahach Draper. And in Lyon, we have 2 matches to go. Gaston plays Galan right now, and after that, there's going to be Munar against Tiafoe. Another Brit was playing in Lyon this week, Daniel Evans, but he lost to Arthur Rinderknecht in a bit of a crazy match where he saved the match point at 2-5 in the third, then actually wasted one at 6-5 in the tiebreak, and then lost that tiebreak 6-8. So not a great day for Dan Evans, who really needs some wins at the moment. And of course, we also have Strasbourg and Rabat. They're close to wrapping up as well. In Rabat, we have UA1 and Camila Rosatello in the third set. And after that, it's going to be Laura Zygmunt against Anna Blinkova, friend of the show, Laura Zygmunt. And in Strasbourg, we have Fiona Ferro up a set and a break on Andreeva, but Erika Andreeva, so not a big surprise. And then Alize Cornet will be playing Emma Navarro next. Of course, in the French Open qualifying for women, we also don't have any court playing right now, since Suzanne Lenglen is the only one with a roof. Now they're even throwing on some more clay on the court here in the corners. I'm watching that technique from the guy with the shovel. I guess I never really paid attention to this. No one normal would, but right now, since we're on the stream, I kind of am. Is Polish at risk at becoming a dying language? No, not really. I know the Welsh are always struggling to keep it alive with each generation. Well, Ghosty, in Wales, I suppose that's because English is like also official, right? I mean, I don't know if it's actually also official, but at least it's like, everyone knows English on a native level, right? In Wales. But it wouldn't be a risk in Poland, since Polish is the only official language here. And well, while it's pretty much mandatory in school right now to learn English, to actually know it on a level similar or adjacent to Polish is very rare still. So we've got about 38 million Poles in Poland speaking Polish as their first language, plus probably about 20 million abroad. So I don't think it's at any risk of becoming a dying language. Not at least, until the whole world essentially starts doing everything in English. I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon, but well, it just doesn't seem like Polish would be in any danger. What's the status of the game? We are suspended due to rain. As you can see on the screen, that's the score. It's actually 40-15 for Medjedovic in that game as well. But we are suspended due to rain. However, the Susan Langland court has a roof. So we are going to be back in just a second, probably, because they've already closed the roof. They are prepping the court. We still haven't seen the players coming back onto the court, but hopefully that will happen any minute. And I think in about 5-10 minutes, we probably should be at least warming up again. So it will restart relatively soon anyway. You're learning Swahili, okay. Interesting. I've always kind of thought of learning languages maybe a little bit more, that could be useful in my everyday life. But if you're planning to explore East Central Africa, that's definitely not a bad idea either. I have, however, failed in my attempts of learning an additional language, I have to say. So hopefully you have more patience than me. I guess the French Open staff responsible for the courts is coming off right now. That's what it seems from the feed anyway. It's very funny how all the people who are like shown on camera, they never really wave towards the camera, right? They wave towards the big screen rather than towards the actual camera. I guess that's because maybe in most cases they don't know where precisely that camera is located or something, but I guess they should be able to point in which direction it is uh, pointed again. But I don't know. But yeah, everyone just waves towards the big screen, which of course isn't where the camera is. Usually, it's at an angle that's a little different. A lady is forcing her kid to dance, and the kid did not have it. Wasn't having it, rather, should have said. 6-3, 1-1, 40-15. We are still here. Play suspended. I don't actually know what's happening on the court right now, as they are just showing the crowd, but I'm assuming that we are going to be back relatively shortly. You can go for it, Nurlan. I wonder what you mean with inaccuracies with our analysis, but you can absolutely go for it. I don't mind constructive criticism or any criticism. If it's not constructive, then I just don't care about it. I am an American. I will kill you in tennis. That's gonna be your introduction. It's like that Dr. Livingstone thing. That's gonna be like a similarly famous African quote from when you go there. By the way, I just giggled, didn't I? I don't know. You said you wanted to hear me giggle. I thought I just did, but maybe that wasn't quite it. Maybe that wasn't the giggle that you were hoping for. Anyway, guys, can you come back right now? I mean, I thought this was gonna be an easier process. I think they're more or less ready, but they're still doing something. So is this actually, by the way, guys, is this going to be the first match ever finished under the roof on court Susan Langland? I suppose so, right? We're part of a historic situation. We're part of a historic thing here, right? Sort of are. I have to make sure that this is actually the first time we have the roof closed on this, but I think so. I will also check because Ghosty said something about the price. I will also see if they said how much it costs. Are we gonna get the players on the court, guys? Please. You're ready. Everything is done. This really takes quite a while, I have to say. I don't think they're telling us how much it costs, at least not in this particular article that I just found. Or maybe in this Forbes article, right? It should probably. Yeah, the most visible new feature of 2024. That's what Amelie Mauresmo said. So I guess this is going to be the first ever match finished with a roof, finished under a roof on Susan Langland. Can close in 15 minutes apparently. And Hamad Medjedovic is back on the court. Luka Pouille not quite yet, but he will be shortly. Yes, he is already there. And we're gonna get a warm up and we're gonna start playing again. 15 minutes is what is how long it takes apparently, and I don't know if there's gonna be anything about the price of it though. Yeah, I don't see anything. Or even in that Forbes article, and of course Forbes would be very interested in the business side of things, right? So I guess that just means we don't have data on this. Anyway, this is going to be the first match on Susan Langland ever with a roof. I'm glad they did it in the qualies because for a while I was kind of thinking, well, what if they want to have like a big event because of that roof inauguration and they're gonna wait for the main draw? Like, no, that would be insane, right? But I kind of thought they might. These tournaments sometimes really don't care about the qualifying. But thankfully, not today, and they will still debut the roof here. The warm up just kicking off. I don't know how long it takes because, again, I'm not sure what the rules are. If it's just the full 5 minutes or if it's just something shorter. And yeah, was there anything else in the chat? Is the rain expected all week? I actually didn't check that, to be honest. My favorite time of a tournament is the qualies and early rounds. I will be back in half a minute. Just gonna pour myself some water. Alrighty. Let's see where they are. They are still hitting just ground strokes, so I suppose this will be a regular warm up. Well, actually, they're serving now, so maybe it's just 3 minutes. I don't know. They're not showing me the timer, so. But they're already serving, so I guess it's maybe a shortened one where they're not practicing the smashes and volleys. But yeah, very soon we'll be back with Hamad Medjedovic serving at 1-1, 40-15 in the second set. So far, a very dominant performance on serve. I guess in indoor conditions, that's not exactly going to change, right? I mean, that should only be magnified. Is the story definitely going away? Well, when we were there, everyone was saying that it's like 95% gonna stay. And let me tell you how. So, because the ATP had to wrap up their calendar and announce it, they put Bucharest in that one slot, that one where Estoril was, but Tiriac, the of course the former Romanian tennis player and the owner of that event, one of the most influential, well, rich people in tennis, he actually doesn't want the event there, and he didn't even want it in Bucharest. He wanted some different venue, but because they had to wrap up the calendar, they put it there. So presumably, Bucharest is gonna get some different option, and a story would jump in that slot. So that one that they have right now. However, well, so far nothing has happened about that. So maybe the negotiations aren't going as planned. I know Estoril was also thinking about joining Barcelona and Munich in that week with two 500s, but that actually is something that the ATP doesn't want. The ATP doesn't want them to be in that double 500 slot simply because they don't want a 250 rivaling Barcelona and Munich. There's also the week with Hamburg just before the French, and it's very hard to say what sort of field Estoril could get just before the French when it's rivaling a 500 in Hamburg, because obviously that's something we haven't had on the men's side before yet. A 500 a week before a slam is something new. So, in other words, we know nothing, but when we were there with John, everyone around the event was pretty positive about it. Like they were pretty optimistic in terms of the chances of Estoril staying in the calendar. They just didn't know where or well, they just didn't know when. They knew where exactly. Estoril. But clearly they didn't know when. Whether there have been any developments, I don't know. So the answer is probably that it's not definitely like we can't say that it's definitely going away. There is a chance it will stay on the calendar. I wish it does. It was a super fun event, and we would probably go. I know that John would want to go next year. And I would too, but we'll see. We're back. Hamad Medjedovic serving 40-15. He starts the second part of this match with a half volley error. I guess he was expecting to get more done with this +1 forehand, but it's a pretty nice shot from Pouille. Let's see if that breakup like if that break in terms of the rhythm of Medjedovic helps out Pouille whatsoever, or is it just gonna be more bomb serving and issues on return in every single issues on serve in every single game for Pouille? Second serve now at 40-30, so it would be pretty interesting if we got to deuce here after the break. Can that break sort of just change everything in this match and suddenly have Medjedovic not as dominant as before anymore? Maybe there's a possibility. It's definitely a long rally here that Pouille is forcing him to play. And he's on the front foot, the Frenchman now. But Medjedovic will find a sensational backhand pass. This time he's asking the crowd for applause in a non sarcastic way. And well, I mean, he was so out of position here. Like, I don't even think he had, the right balance hitting that shot. But what a fantastic strike here. And he is 6-3 to 1 up. So even though it was just a hold, it does feel pretty massive just to get through this game right after the break, just get through it and also win this super long rally, which could have easily been deuce. But yeah, Pui did kind of like everything right in this point. Maybe the approach shot could have been a little more precise, but all in all, he did create the opening for himself with this inside out backhand. Maybe the approach shot, yeah, could have been a little better, but still, Medjedovic was really out of balance, and he still made it. So All right, Luka Pouille serving it 1-2 down. Maybe the indoor conditions will also help Pouille hold serve a bit more efficiently. It's certainly a possibility. Very nice aggressive point here. Obviously, Medjedovic is a great indoor player too. Like, it's not a guarantee that Pouille will be really much closer to him now, but certainly these first few points, it seems like he's made some progress during the break. I don't know how, but it feels like it. Like suddenly he is closer to Medjedovic. But of course, we've just seen 3 points so far. It might just be over very quickly if Hamad wins this game. Another insane backhand where he was like kind of out of position. I don't know if he's gonna win the point though. He is after the smash down the middle. Very deep return from Hamad here too. They're mixing up play so well with these slices, but Medjedovic with that forehand technique so good at just blasting through it anyway. It was a fantastic slice from Hamad, but then like Pouille plays this side spin backhand slice, throwing him out of the court, and yet Medjedovic on the slide is still able to generate through it, and that's pretty ridiculous actually. And he's 15-13 now. Looks like Pouille should get this point though with the smash. Well, actually, a couple of smashes. Maybe didn't need to play two of them, but well, he did still. It was pretty tough to fumble this one, even if he had to play even like one more smash to win it. But obviously, the Frenchman has to be very cautious here. Last year, actually, he was getting all of these comebacks, right, in the qualifying. So maybe there's also a possibility for him to do that. I mean, Medjedovic is not the strongest player mentally. You could maybe rattle him by just getting back into the match. The crowd could also be a factor. But well, so far he really just needs to avoid going down a set and a break because with how well Medjedovic has been serving, this could be a bit tough to recover from. But yeah, after the break, it seems like Pouille has brought a slightly stronger level. Medjedovic winning 67% of his second serve return points. He's usually getting the first strike in and usually converting it too. The first serve of Pouille seems to be slightly more dangerous after the break, I have to say, in these indoor conditions. But he doesn't get it in on this occasion, and he will lose the point. That's actually really good running from Medjedovic as well. I mean, it was never going to win him the point, but I think his speed might be a little underrated by now. I think a lot of the time people also question Medjedovic's fitness, and well, I mean, he's definitely had issues with it just in general, like, in long matches and stuff, but also he has this like pretty stocky build, right? Out of the two, because we had that match in Rome between Medjedovic and Medvedev, and both of them are like their names originate from bear, right? For in Russian, and Medjedovic definitely is built more like a bear with his physicality, but I don't think it's really limiting him in general. I definitely was never really subscribing to that group because, yeah, sure. I mean, maybe he gets a little more tired than some other players, but at the same time, that crazy thunderous power he has comes from that physicality in many ways as well. So anyway, like here, that was some amazing running from him actually. Not enough to win the point, not enough to win the game, but that's kind of what you have to do on the defense, right? I mean, just extend the point and extend the chances that the opponent will win or that you will find some crazy answer. But yeah, anyway, 2 games all. So Pouille is still there. Pouille holds, and we'll see if he can steer some issues on the Medjedovic serve for the first time in this match. Again, it's just like off that slice, Medjedovic is hitting through it so well. But when Pouille actually hit a higher topspin ball, he failed to make adjustments. Even despite the deuce in the last game, you gotta like how Pouille has reacted to that break though. He's definitely more like keeping up with Medjedovic more than before it. But well, that will not amount to much if the serving is just as unstoppable from Medjedovic as it's been so far. Hmm. Medjedovic tries to go for that backhand drop shot special though, and it's not a good attempt this time. I think that was a little much. Like I'm not really sure if it was the best moment to play it. Even Pouille was already halfway into the court, and it was just a really nice setup for a backhand line, or maybe just a cross court follow up and try to set up the forehand on the next point. The drop shot was like a bit of a risky business to me. Did he find this? I guess it's another ace for Medjedovic, so it's like 3 unreturned serves in this game so far. He's been losing the rallies, but the rallies have not impacted the results so far. I mean, it's 40-30. One more huge serve, and it's actually all on the same side as well, right? The serves on the Deuce side have been insane, but on the outside, he's not finding them quite as well. And now again, it's the second serve here at 40-30. So he might actually have to win a rally in order to get the game done. Striking the ball clean, but so is Pouille right now. He's kind of forced to play this forehand dropper here, but he will still win the point. Pouille had the play on the last volley on the forehand, but just doesn't get it over the net with the drop volley. I was a little shaky this point. It could have been deuce, but all in all, it was just more of unstoppable serving, I suppose. Um. Oh wow, a lot of comments here, including from Nurlan. Let's see. Yes, definitely, Ghosty. The players are, well, at least from what we've heard, because we don't really get to see it, right? Even when we're at an event as journalists and stuff, the players apparently, from what the people told us, they are also like, well, they have everything they want there in Estoria, basically. So the players are very happy about it as well. First of all, the only reason why the scoreline was where it was because of the fact that Sabalenka did not live up to her best level. It has nothing to do with the surface being slow. I disagree with that, hands down. I think it's so much easier to handle that power. Plus, Iga also gets to stay on the front foot more. She's not instantly pushed back, and these are connected. I know you kind of don't believe in conditions, but I do disagree with that. she was not on the court in the first set, and she came back in the second, just did not use her opportunities, and Iga did later in that set. I mean, yeah, obviously in the second set she did have some opportunities. I can't disagree with that. She could have been in that one. Nurlan of the Nurlan tennis show. Um, gonna be my undercard. Tennis abstract keep numbers on inclement weather. I don't think so. Wang Xinyu whooping Kalinskaya. I did not watch that actually. Rohit very happy that Medjedovic is winning. Garin down a break, but I don't think they restarted, right? Yeah, it's just 0-2 as I said earlier. No, Garin is in Roland Garros qualifying. Ghosty, do you have a Twitter account? Nothing else. I do not speak Russian. I had a few months of Russian classes at the university because, well, we could choose from Spanish, French, and Russian, I think. And I just figured, well, I already learned Spanish. I don't want to be in like a group that starts from scratch, even though maybe at this stage I could. No, probably still not, but like still, I wouldn't want to be. And French, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to try something else, but I do not speak Russian whatsoever. I can read the alphabet, but otherwise nothing. No, otherwise nothing. Jaime Faria plays his qualifying round one tomorrow. Yes, against Clement Tabur. I think Faria actually has a pretty high chance of qualifying if he brings that OA rush level. And then, do you think Alcaraz or Sinner will be more hampered by their injury? We have zero intel about that. I mean, we know that the doctors advised Sinner to rest, but he's trying. I mean, he's practicing now, and he's gonna see whether he can make it. For Alcaraz, I guess we just don't see anything right now. Like with Sinner, it was more of an injury that would probably impact him if he stayed long in the event, right? And if simply there was yeah, if he was in like his fifth sixth match, maybe something very physical, and probably then he would have issues. Whereas with Alcaraz, like the way he played in Madrid, you're not beating a strong baseliner with this. If you don't have a forehand, you can like break through a few rounds. So in the long run, I think if they are still in that shape that we saw from them in Madrid, then neither is winning the event. So I guess kind of similar. But in terms of whether they actually will at the French be impacted by it, it's just not something that I can even take a guess on because we have zero information about it. Probably they themselves don't even know, right? They will definitely both be pretty desperate to play it. Maybe Alcaraz even more because Sinner already has that slam this year, and well, he might even get number one without playing. Whereas Alcaraz, it just kind of feels like he needs that French and he needs to do well there because his clay season was also such a mess. Whereas the Sinner season has been so spectacular that I don't feel like, skipping the French and getting stronger for Wimbledon. Like that's not the end of the world. Obviously it's not ideal. It's not something he would want. It's not something anyone would want for him. But I guess that's kind of maybe the difference in terms of their desperation to play it. But obviously both will do anything they can. If they were gonna like go to a voodoo doctor or whatever, and they would tell them that if you come through my treatment, you're gonna play the French Open, they would do it. That's pretty much kind of where I think they are. Djokovic kind of went to a voodoo doctor or like a faith healerish persona for a while. I mean, this forehand from Medjedovic cross court might be faster than the serve of a lot of players here. Serve and volleys here and actually just carries it over on his racket a long way behind the baseline. 30-15. Less of a serve botish game from Medjedovic like the previous one for sure. He kind of has to win it by himself here so far. but maybe he finds an ace or an on-return serve here. That's definitely a good direction for him to. I mean, we've said that he's basically been serving very well on the deuce side, but on the outside, it's like a little spottier. But that out wide serve that he was going for here, it's actually a let, but he's also had a few aces with that. I just don't think he finds that amazing accuracy down the tee too much. But well, it doesn't have to be accurate, you know. It's in. It's enough to give him a pretty deep ball from Pouille, but it's high enough that Hamad can again just smack the forehand, smack it into oblivion. 40-15. And an ace down the tee. Because again, we're on the deuce side and he's just unplayable there today. Zeynep Sonmez, yes, indeed. And what did he say, Ghosty? Did he inform or did he not? So friend of the Lloyd Harris is a friend of the show. I didn't even know. I mean, yeah, sure, Zaynab might be in good form. She's been in good form since the beginning of 2023, but like she's still a bit underpowered, right? So I think by the time she gets to face like a really strong player, it's gonna be tough. Sasnovic actually next round, that's already tricky. I know Sasnovic has had a horror show of a year, but I have a lot of respect for her in general. I think she's a very underrated player, capable of beating the best, just not as consistent as the best. But because she's not as consistent, maybe Zainab can actually take her down too. Lloyd Harris will down a set to Artur Gea. Clay not his favorite, but 6-2 is pretty brutal.
Ready? Play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
What? Zainab representing UK up until recently? Is that actually true? I've never heard of this, but maybe. I mean, to be honest, I was not really like aware of her too much until last year's WTA 125 in Kozerki, and I know her coach as well, but I'm not aware of that at all, honestly. Is that actually a thing? Or is Nurlan just yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything about that. Um 4-3-30-15 here for Pouille. Still on serve, still playing a lot better since we went indoors, that's for sure. The serve especially, I mean, it feels like it's well, A gotten a boost, but Medjedovic is just not doing any real damage to it anymore. Whereas in the first set, he was just like in every single return game. That's not really happening anymore. And look at Pouille, just as I'm talking about this, right on cue, he finds a serve, an ace down the tee. So we've got 6-3 games all in a much, much tighter second set. And as I said earlier, I mean, last year, Luca Pouille at the French, he was like making comebacks every single time. So maybe with the roaring French crowd, who can also potentially get to Medjedovic, not the strongest player mentally out there. I don't know. Maybe Luca Pouille has some opportunity here if he can just keep up with Medjedovic for a couple more games. But still, you gotta either break Medjedovic or win a tiebreak against him. And so far, these two things seem pretty tough, especially the former. Pretty high first serve percentage from Hamad as well, 2 out of 3. I think that's an ace down the tee again. I gotta check actually how many aces he's already hit, but I think that's gonna be quite a high number. $11, that's his count for now. 83% of points on his first serve, 71% on his second too. And I think we also have some winners and unforced errors stats from the Rangaros website. Unfortunately, at least not yet, not in the at least not in the qualifying draw. We don't have like a forehand backhand breakdown and stuff. But yeah, 27 winners to 14 unforced errors from Medjedovic. Of course, 11 aces, so they account for a lot of these. But yeah, I don't think we can check how many winners have been generated by what. Ooh, but maybe it actually can get competitive here. Another great serve down the tee, but Pouille just blocks it back, and it's pretty deep, and Medjedovic misses the +1. Wasn't even a potential winner, wasn't even a potential point-winning shot, I think. Medjedovic seems to be a little frustrated by now. I think it's maybe about the crowd, which is getting pretty loud before he serves. That's in, right? No, really? Um, okay. 30 all, anyway. Pouille tried to like make a move on Medjedovic here. Wow. Pouille tried to make a move on Medjedovic here and came up to the baseline on the second serve return, but Hamad found it still. Hamad still found a pretty aggressive second serve. And then just incredible ball striking from him again. First going for that forehand cross and then down the line. Really good precision too, coupled with the power. So 40-30, but again, this is getting somewhat tighter, right? I mean, it's definitely been a very competitive set since we came back from the break. But bounce on the Medjedovic side of the court here, but he's still in control. At least that's what it would seem. But Pouille is even like counter-punching better than before. It's Medjedovic finding this crazy forehand cross winner, though. I don't know if the crowd will like his reaction here, as kind of similarly to Vacheron earlier today when he beat De Bruyne. Like, he's kind of in their face about it, you know? He definitely says, see, guys, like, you know, you can't stop me, or something like that, with what he did here. But yeah, this is getting much tighter, and he seems to be at least seeing the crowd now. Like, he seems to be, you know, acknowledging the fact that they are supporting Pouille pretty wildly, and well, maybe that can also get into his head at some point, even if for now he seems to be enjoying it. I actually remember talking to him about that last year in Szekes Fehervar when he was gonna play Piros, where he kind of said that, yeah, I mean, I like playing in matches where it's good atmosphere, even if they are against me. You know, I think he called himself like a spicy guy or something like that. Some he used some word. I'm not sure it was spicy, but or maybe it was spicy. He said something like that anyway, and it made total sense. Like that was actually kind of what I was hoping for with his with the question. Anyway, 6-3-5-4. I've seen him falter though in under such circumstances. Like it's not a given that he's gonna do well. What else do we have here? If John and Damian could have a coach for the rematch, who do you want? I would go Roger Federer. No, I mean it would make sense. I think for the type of plays that I try to play, not necessarily play, but I try to play. I think it would make sense, and the one-hander as well, right? And John wants Darren Cahill and Simone Vanozzi. That makes sense. I mean, they were the coaches of the year for a reason. I don't think any coach could help John, though. Is that another return winner from Medjedovic? Yes, indeed, it is. I wish we could see how many of them he's hit so far, but I don't think we have these stats on that particular stat, at least on the Rangaras website. Instead, we actually have love games, which Medjedovic has had 3 and Pouille has had none. I don't know if that's a stat that I really wanted to have here, but anyway, we do get them. I guess that's fine. But yeah, technically 3 points away from the win, Medjedovic here. Let's see if that turns into something. What a forehand counter from Medjedovic as well here. Pouille was actually taking the ball pretty early, forehand cross, and I don't think he was expecting an aggressive shot from Hamad. But yeah, that was a cracker down the line. 2 points away now. Think it's gonna be out to so second serve for Pouille, 2 points away from losing. Are we gonna see Medjedovic go for another huge return? Sorta. But Pouille stays in the point thanks to a defensive backhand slice. Medjedovic just carefully crafting that ball though into his forehand corner twice. That backhand of Medjedovic is also very interesting on a technical level. Like I don't have the full technical knowledge, as you know, but like I would be I think if I had, there would be some good pieces to write on it. Just kind of how he maybe pushes the ball a little bit instead of hitting it, but it still gets so much power. And it's a match point for Hamad Medjedovic. Pouille gets the first serve in, and it's going to be an unreturned serve. Medjedovic just trying to save himself with the backhand block, but it flies out of the court. Again on the deuce side, second serve though. Last time he almost surprised Medjedovic with a body serve, but Hamad was like able to invent something. This time though, Pouille is going for it, and he knows he needs to, but I believe that the serve is out, so it's going to be the second match point. Yeah, that's just thanks to the pressure, right, that Medjedovic has been putting on him on second serve return all match, and that makes Pouille go for a bit too, just go a bit too risky here. So it's second match point. Does he go out wide again? Yes. Hamad is in the point. Pouille with a drop shot, and it's gonna be good enough. Medjedovic catches it, but he can't put it back in play. It was actually a pretty smart one too. I think he completely surprised Medjedovic with the direction of that. Hamad was just running towards the other direction and switches up quickly, but he can't quite make it there. So again, we're back at deuce, as Pouille has just saved 2 match points. Will it be a crazy comeback from the Frenchman, or is the match gonna be over soon anyway? Net court should help Pouille here. Yes, it does. Now he's reacting to the crowd quite a lot for sure the last few games. And in general, he simply seems to feel more confident after the break. Hamad's return touching the net here, but yeah, it's just gonna set up Pouille for an easy +1. So can Pouille climb out of this game and, well, potentially cast some doubt in Medjedovic and his ability to wrap up this match relatively pain-free? We'll need to do it on the second serve outside. The 2 match points, he found his first serve, of course, but not now. It's a good return, but it's not, a killer from Medjedovic this time. Forehand drop shot from him. Oh, that's interesting. I said earlier that he only really has 1 drop shot direction, which is true. And, well, this one wasn't that good. And Pouille eventually claims the point, although he needed to play a few shots more, and Medjedovic trying to tweener lob eventually. But yeah, that drop shot from Medjedovic really put him a little behind in this one. Pouille having a good chance to just redrop and claim it. So 6-3, 5 games. Oh, I want a Murray and Medjedovic double, says Matthew. Goran is available. I thought about it, Ghosty. I mostly thought about this because, we have Simone Vanozzi and Cahill winning last year, and there was that huge discussion whether Goran should be winning this award or not. And I thought about it, but it's a hypothetical scenario, so I think we can go for anyone. If we're going anyone, then I don't know. I guess I just don't have a strong preference in terms of working with Goran. Like, I wouldn't mind, obviously, but I don't know. He's just not the kind of guy I guess I would just choose out of anyone on the planet. I don't feel like, he would be the most exciting choice. Let's just say that. But yeah, if we're not in a hypothetical scenario, if we're thinking about guys who are available, then yeah, I would probably go for him. Let's see. After the disappointment of wasting 2 match points, Hamad Medjedovic has to keep strong here and has to keep pushing Luka Pouille. So far, he's doing just that. Another forehand drop shot though at 30 love. Why is he going for this all of a sudden? Especially when he's feeling the ball so well on his ground strokes, you know? It just doesn't feel like it's the most sound strategy, right? When your ground strokes have been so strong, you suddenly just decide to, I don't know, it's definitely a bit weird one from him. I guess you should probably just try to rely on what has been so strong from you instead of trying to mix up even more. But well, maybe there is merit to it. Now he goes for the forehand inside in though, 40-15. No no mix-ups here. Ghost, you would have Trevisan as a coach? Yeah, sure. On his strokes, yeah, like in the movies when someone is trying to teach baseball or golf to a person. Actually cannot think of a movie when that happens, but it happens in a lot of movies. I think there's an X-Files episode when they go playing baseball in the 6th season, maybe. Like there's a scene like that in the end, which kind of builds up the romantic relationship of Mulder and Scully. And not that it's ever like truly built up on the show, really, but well, it's one of the main moments anyway. 6-5 Medjedovic. So one more game for Pouille to get us to a tiebreak. He kind of deserves it, I would say. I mean, I really don't think that Medjedovic has been dominating the match anymore since the break. But then again, I mean, we still haven't had a deuce on the Hamad serve, I think. So given he had 2 match points, so and so, I suppose. Medjedovic, in fact, has only lost 11 points on serve so far. And he's played 10 games. So yeah, that shows you the level of dominance that he's had over his service games. So yeah, maybe on the other hand, like scratch that. Maybe actually he doesn't deserve the tiebreak point. He probably does. I mean, he saved the two break points. He found first serves on both of them. So yeah, Hanfman Murray 4-4, 4 games all in the opening set. By the way, we have the Geneva order of play for tomorrow as well. Kobori, Shelton, and Shevchenko Rusevori will be the 2 second rounds that are played tomorrow. So I suppose that means that Novak Djokovic will start on Wednesday, maybe against Andy Murray. Is that actually part of why you want Murray to win today, Matthew? Or is it just because you like Andy? But of course, if Andy wins, then he's going to play Novak Djokovic. And that's the forehand, that's the backhand drop shot from Pouille that I mentioned earlier. But actually he loses the point. Oh no. But yeah, that's the backhand drop shot from Pouille that I mentioned. Like when a pretty fast ball is coming from him, coming at him, and he just kind of stabs it. That's something that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, that he's playing a lot of these. And it was a bit of a killer here, but Hamad gets a surprising amount of control on the redrop. And then Pouille is forced to hit this shot across the net. Honestly, I'm gonna be blunt about this. I think it was in. They showed us the replay, like, you know, the like a zoom of the mark. To me, it was in. The chair umpire, however, got off his chair and decided that it's not. So it's the first point going to Medjedovic, who finds another return winner. Jesus Christ, how many of them today? I mean, I remember at least like 6 or 7. I don't think we are at double digits yet, but probably like 8, 9, really. Massive shot again, backing down the line. And he's 2 points away again, but this time also has that leeway of, you know, being 30 love up and potentially being able to lose some points from here. Can he close it out this time? Nice serve out wide from Pouille. He's got Medjedovic on the move, but that's not enough. As Medjedovic just out of position, he fires an incredible backhand down the line. I mean, what a performance so far. And now he only needs to dot that I, you know, he only needs to he only needs to wrap this up relatively smoothly for us to call it a truly phenomenal showing. I know that maybe missing too much points in the previous game already is not relatively smoothly, but you know, relatively. Anyway, second serve, another return winner. No, Pouille isn't the point, but Hamad will finish it off with a beautiful backhand winner down the line. What a game. That was 3 backhand winners down the line and that one good redrop. Yeah, I mean, truth be told, he was really pretty unplayable today. This is, by the way, a historic moment. This is the first match ever finished under the roof on Susan Lenglen. And Medjedovic in this blockbuster round 1, he wins at 6-3, 7-5 over Luca Pouille. As I said a few times, I mean, it definitely got a lot more competitive after the break. But in general, I think, yeah, that was a stupendous performance. The serving was just insane. He was barely losing points all match. The ball striking was extremely clean. And when it comes to the return winners as well, and in the first set, just getting onto Pouille all the time. And then, yeah, the second, the indoor conditions definitely helped up the Frenchman a little bit, just in keeping it more competitive. But we've got a very strong winner coming through here. Before we go, I will also tell you that, well, the section is kinda nice for Medjedovic or for Pouille if you want, but of course now it's Medjedovic. He's gonna play Filip Krajinovic next in an all-Serbian battle. I know that, you know, it's kind of like a legend, but Krajinovic has been, since his comeback, I mean, he had a nice start in Koblenz, but after that he's been a disaster. So I don't really know if he can beat Hamad right now. And then potentially the third round would be Ajdukovic, Escoffier, or Blancano. It would be a very disappointing loss, I think, for Medjedovic. Yeah, right now, especially after beating Pouille, and he could actually do damage in the main draw, and I think we just saw that today as well. He was absolutely spectacular. So yeah, that's gonna be it. What is fantasy point? I have no clue. Yeah, and you say that yeah, everybody wants Annie to win, like Team and Wawrinka. Sure, I get that. Not really in that boat, but anyway. If you finish by 18:58, and I can end the stream. If it is after that, I can. Okay, no, you can finish up the stream right now at 6:55. So 2 minutes to the cut. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to Hamad Medjedovic for delivering a pretty breathtaking performance. Thank you to Luca Pouille for the fight back, and also thank you to the Roland Garros organizers who allowed us to watch this match. Because if there was no roof on Susan Lenglen, we would still be on a rain delay. So especially Amélie Mauresmo and and any other French Open organizer, thanks to you. And yeah, bye. See you on some other Talking Tennis streams, and see you on the ATP Weekly later today in 3 hours and 4 minutes. Bye.
Ready? Play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leymans and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Samaz and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.